And we're off. I believe it is. We are live. It is Friday, June 10th. Happy birthday, 2022 AD. And it's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time. Gonna have a fun, loosey-goosey Friday show. I think. Quite a bit, actually, to cover, though. But you can call in. Gonna talk about Grandpa telling me about the good old days, my late Grandpa. I came across this written down document of memories, and I thought I would share a little bit with you. In contrast with what's going on today, this blah, blah, blee, blah, blah. Patrick Lyoya. I'm gonna share like a 5-minute news segment about this guy, and you will be convinced, as I am, that the shooting of and killing of Patrick Lyoya was justified, pretty much justified, and not one decent person, not one, is on the side of BLM, Black Lives Matter, because it's a lie. And speaking of Black Lives Matter, there was a male coach, NFL coach, who called the Capitol protest. This was like earlier this week, or maybe even last week. Called it a dust-up. Called the Capitol protest a dust-up. In contrast with the destroying of livelihoods and businesses and killing of people and burning down buildings of the Black Lives Matter terror attacks, insurrections across the country. So phony. And he apologized. Pfft. Of course he did. Of course he did. Can't have anybody telling the truth. Gotta shut down that child who says the emperor has no clothes. The emperor's not wearing any clothes. Shut up, kid. That's what they did to him, and he complied. What a mess, huh? But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Good morning, guys! Hey, guys! We're gonna be talking about evil BLM, the evil gun grabbers, the evil haters of Trump and you and me. They hate everybody. It's so sick. And you can call in 888-775-3773.
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, how are you guys doing? I am fine. It's Friday. We have a busy day ahead. And so let's get right into it, shall we? I am wearing I thought that it was Lucky, but it's not. I think it's a True Religion. I don't know. It's a t-shirt. I've had it for a while. I don't even remember how I got it. But it's all right. People's like, James has a name brand t-shirt? Yeah. It's not actually my favorite. But yeah, it's not a Hake t-shirt. I thought it was Lucky because it looks like a horseshoe and it's pointing up, right? That's for good luck. But no, it's True Religion. True religion that God our Father accepts as pure and holy is to look after orphans and widows in their distress and keep oneself from being polluted by the world. Something to that effect, right? Hey, play clip 11 already. I might. But anyway, speaking of the pollution of the world, they talk about how, oh, we can't change people's hearts. Well, obviously they corrupted the people's hearts because these school shootings and crime and all that stuff was not out of control, even during the so-called Great Depression when poverty was high. So what changed? A lot changed for the worse, and we can, you can change. We can get it back. We can get it back. It is gone. But I came across this memory document from my grandpa on my mother's side, and it was quite interesting. I'm looking at this part of this, talking about his childhood. He was born in like 1920, right? He would have been 102 had he lived past 90 something. I was only 6 years old when Virginia graduated from Franklin High School, right here in L.A. area. I was 10 when Tommy graduated. These are like my great aunt and uncle. Francis was the first to graduate from Eagle Rock in the winter class of 1935. That's right. My grandpa was born in like Hampton, Virginia, and then at 3 years old, the family moved to Eagle Rock, California. 1935. Wow. Okay, so that was like 23, though, when they left. Their car broke down a bunch of times. They had to replace like tires and springs and stuff. Our family went through the Depression years with no major troubles, he said. Dad had a job managing such and such construction storage yard, Dixon Construction Storage Yard, and he often worked nights at playing saxophone in various dance bands. Wow, liberal. Didn't know my great-grandpa was a liberal. When there wasn't enough money for house payments, it was okay to just pay interest. Man, isn't that nice? I got a 25-cent weekly allowance that was plenty for a movie and some ice cream. I remember spending a weekend with a friend where all they had to eat was beans. There were food lines for the hungry, but no welfare like we have today. And he wrote this like 10 years ago, 15 years ago. When a homeless person would come to my door, my mom would give them food and sometimes hire them for handyman work. Imagine being able to hire a homeless for a handyman work. Since we didn't worry about crime those days, we never locked the doors to our house. And this corroborates JLP's statement that in the good old days you didn't have to lock your door, but now you better lock your door. And then some. Now you have to have a Ring camera or whatever, security camera and more. Even then. That's why that guy designed various T-shirts and different things, Lock Your Door, that's where he came up with that name. Because now you have to lock your door. Thanks, diversity. Thanks, liberal society. Thanks, unchristian so-called leadership. Thanks, weak men, I guess. Thanks, single mothers. Thanks, blacks. Thanks, Hispanics who don't follow the law and stuff like that. What a mess, huh? Drug addicts. Anyway, crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. Dad was born in South Dakota. This is my grandpa's writing, I presume. Born in South Dakota, but grew up in Iowa and Enid, Oklahoma. Attended business college and worked for his uncle, Charles Goltry, whoever that was. Partnership on a bicycle shop. Mom was born in Mount Pleasant, Iowa. Good old Iowa, right? Solid people over there. Man, Iowa has changed a lot. We had the great Congressman Steve King from Iowa. I don't know when or where they met, maybe in college. They married in Cuba, where Dad had purchased 100 acres of land. Dang! Remember pictures and stories how the family moved from Virginia to Eagle Rock, California. That's right here in L.A. It's just east of L.A. In a new 23 Oakland touring car. Numerous flats, broken springs. See, I remember, right? In grade school, remember walking the walk and having to avoid the local bully. When it rained, the Bates kids and I rode to school in Dr. Bates' Model T sedan. I remember a broken wrist in a soccer game, getting bitten by a mouse, getting in a fight with Tom Daniels, hiking the hills and flying kites, my first bicycle and bike rides to see Bob Dixon. I usually skipped Sunday school because the Bates kids were Seventh-day Adventists and Sunday was their day to play. They had to be quiet on Saturdays. Got some Christian education from Mrs. Bates and Also from a neighbor, Mrs. Green. Isn't this so quaint, right? Mom gave me love, especially when I was sick or in trouble. sounds like JLP's grandma. Ah, I'm sick. Oh, come here, baby. She called me home for my radio program that he liked in the afternoon. I remember playing tackle football, newly plowed vacant lot next door to the Enlow brothers, swimming in Yosemite County Park next to Eagle Rock High School, building crystal sets and other radios. This guy had like hobbies and stuff. Brother become an Eagle Scout. My troop folded due to lack of leader when I was just in second class. High school, I remember going to Christian Endeavor meetings at our local Presbyterian church. Everybody was a Christian, even the non-Christians were Christians, culturally. At one time, I remember going to Catalina with a group of kids from another church. Pretty trippy. Totally different world. He got drafted in April 1942. I guess that's the World War II, right? Went into the Army. Visited Asbury Park, and that's where he met my grandma at some house. But look at these old school photographs. This is like good old days, but I guess the weakness of men had already taken hold, and the out-of-controlness of the females had already taken hold, even at this point. I'm seeing family photos, pictures of my old grandpa. Look, I think that's is that my grandpa? I don't know. I don't know if that's him. That might be my grandma. Trippy, huh? A little house on the hill, in the hills of Eagle Rock. Anyway. Beautiful. Oh, look at those little kids. I think that's my grandpa, who's the short one on the far right. Dang. What a mess, huh? Far right confirmed. But yeah, enterprising young man. Look at that convertible vehicle. Old school. Isn't that cool? I like it. Dang. My grandpa looked like an actor. I think that's my grandpa and my grandma. He was tanner than me. Look at it. Anyway, isn't that nice? Look at that family photo. That's some serious stuff. And they dressed like sensible people, not like in T-shirts all the time, like Hake now. What a shame. Different times. He was swarthier than me. Yeah, he was, I guess because he got some sunshine. But isn't that cool? My main point was crime wasn't so bad. And they didn't have to lock their doors. And it was more of a high-trust society. And poverty doesn't cause crime because they had the Great Depression. I remember my grandpa and my grandma and my other side, my father's side, she was more, they were both sets of grandparents were very like, what is that called? Where you don't spend a lot of money. Thrifty, I guess. Frugal? Yeah, frugal is the word that I was looking for. Lived modest lives, very moderate, self-moderating, temperate. Never knew them to drink or smoke. My grandpa tried smoking one time, but he didn't like it. So, just decent people. High trust society. Not so anymore. Now we need to take away the guns of the people. So dumb. Oh, by the way, in Eagle Rock, they would shoot guns. They would go shooting tin cans. No, I'm not Swedish, I don't think. Swedish or swarthy, huh? Terrible. Anyway, fast forward to today. Cops pull over a guy, and he runs. So dumb. So evil. And this is a refugee male. So-called refugee male. You guys heard of this story, Patrick Lyoya? I mentioned this in Hake News today from the far-left female-run outlet, The Skim. Let's get to that clip 11. From woodtv.com. NBC 8, Grand Rapids, Holland, in Kalamazoo, Michigan. This is a this is a 5-minute news report, okay? So April 4th, what was it, this year? Was it April 4th of this year that this happened? I think it was. GRPD, Grand Rapids Police Department officer, is going to face second-degree murder charge in this Patrick Lyoya killing of this male who was 0.29 blood alcohol level. I think you're supposed to have 0.08 max. Really, you're not supposed to have much at all, any at all. But 0.08 is like the thing. 0.2 something blood alcohol measurement, according to the toxicology report, I think. This foreigner refugee thug who doesn't even belong in the country, his mom and dad got Benjamin Crump and Al Sharpton involved in this mess, and the Black Lives Matter idiots. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I guess I'm not sorry, kids, but I know I don't want to abuse that word too much, but they're evil and idiots. Here's the news clip on the timeline of events in the day of and after following the killing of Patrick Lyoya, justified, I say. Guy got himself killed, and you'll see a little bit of the footage, like he was like tussling with the cop. You don't do that. What an idiot! He got himself killed. Here it is. Here's the report from the local news.
Here is a look back at what began that day in April and what has happened since. It should have been a routine stop that rainy Monday morning. Instead, the encounter between a Grand Rapids police officer and 26-year-old Patrick Lyoya only escalates. The two struggle while a passenger in the car and a bystander watch. It ends with Lyoya shot and killed.
I understand how emotional this can be and recognize the frustrations that many in our community may feel.
The strained look on the faces of Grand Rapids city leaders that day conveyed the seriousness of the issue as calls grew louder for the body camera footage to be released to the public.
I intend to release the video as soon as feasible. My intention is to do so sometime next week.
A day after the shooting, Lyoya's father confirmed to News 8 that his son was the man killed. By Wednesday that week, with renewed requests to see the video, Police Chief Eric Winstrom again reiterates he intends to release it. But Kent County Prosecutor Chris Becker issues a statement urging police not to release the police video until his investigation is complete. The Lyoya family interpreter, though, tells News 8's Jacqueline Francis that they have seen the video.
He shot him in the back of the head.
Say his name! Patrick!
By Saturday, the city saw its first protest and vigil.
Our national civil rights attorney.
And by Sunday, April 10th, famed civil rights attorney Ben Crump had agreed to take the Lyoya case. Crump had previously represented the families of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor. Lyoya's name was now national news. The crisis was entering its second week, and passions were beginning to ferment. While faith leaders called for peace in the city, that night's city commission meeting turns contentious. There were protests in the city.
Ridiculous.
The briefing has been prepared so that you may have a better understanding of the circumstances which led to the use of force.
And then, Wednesday, April 13th, in an afternoon news conference seen nationally, the city released the body cam video.
Stop. Put your hands up.
Stop.
The next day, the Lyoya family, attorneys Ben Crump and Ben Johnson, and Kent County Commissioner Robert S. Womack hold a news conference and call for the still unnamed officer to be charged.
African flags
roiled the city throughout the weekend.
Right there is a bullet wound of entrance.
As the second week since the shooting starts, forensic pathologist Dr. Werner Spitz conducts a private autopsy at the behest of the Lyoya family. He determines Lyoya was shot in the back of the head.
The Department of Attorney General is best suited to handle these cases.
Speaking to the media later that week, State Attorney General Dana Nessel says she'd take the case if asked.
I'm fully intended to handle this.
Kent County Prosecutor Becker declines and insists he has no conflicts. On Thursday, April 21st, protesters march at the state capitol. And then, on Friday, April 22nd, Patrick Lyoya is laid to rest.
We want his name!
Reverend Al Sharpton delivers the eulogy. He calls for the officer to be charged, demands the officer's name be released. That weekend, there are large demonstrations in downtown Grand Rapids.
Al Sharpton.
That following Monday, April 25th, 3 weeks after the shooting, Officer Chrisopher Schurr's name is released. Schurr is on administrative leave, stripped of his police powers, until both the internal investigation from Grand Rapids Police and separate investigations from the Michigan State Police are complete. The protests continue. That Tuesday City Commission meeting is forced to adjourn after protesters disrupt the meeting.
Evil idiots.
The next day, the police union comes to the defense of Schurr. The union says it's confident that a, quote, meticulous investigation will show the shooting was justified.
Nice.
That statement comes as the prosecutor, Becker, receives the state police investigation into the shooting. He says more casework is still needed. The week ends with reports on the toxicology tests for Patrick Lyoya showing that he was over the legal limit for driving when he was pulled over. According to the Kent County Medical Examiner, Lyoya's blood alcohol content level was 0.29. April turned to May, and unrest in the city continued to simmer. Another city commission meeting was disrupted and forced to adjourn early. Bricks with messages angry over the police killing of Lyoya and demands to defund the Grand Rapids Police Department are found at city leaders' properties. In mid-May, after weeks of silence, Becker says he's not close to making a decision in the death of Lyoya and again calls for patience. As the month closes, Patrick Lyoya's father is a guest as President Joe Biden signs an executive order for police reform in Washington.
Total scumbag. We need black reform, not police. Look at those people. Look at those disgusting people. Not one decent person there. Sleazy Joe Biden. He brought Patrick Lyoya's dad, Peter. And let me tell you who this guy is. He was a refugee from the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Another Congo refugee. A sleaze. According to Lyoya's, blah's family, they fled eastern Congo after experiencing years of violence in the Kivu conflict. Lyoya's parents sold beer and clothing for money. Mother was once raped by rebels on her way home. Lyoya family moved to Malawi in 2003. Oh yeah, America's right next door to Congo. Makes perfect sense to... Look at this evil woman. And the evil father, too, all weak. He went to be exploited by... Sleepy Joe Biden and the scumbags in Washington, D.C. Blood alcohol content 0.29? Dang. I mean, some of you guys do that stuff. Okay, Lyoya spent half his life living in a bamboo house at a refugee camp. Should have stayed there. He'd be alive today, maybe. Instead of fighting with our cops here. Our upstanding cops, by the way. In 2014, the family, so-called, received asylum in the United States. That's the corrupt... Look at that guy. Chris is showing photos just because I have, like, tons and tons of photos. Look at this guy. He got out of his vehicle. He was so plastered out of his mind from allegedly drinking so much. Asylum in the United States, the corrupt refugee resettlement agencies, right, in America, bringing these people here. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Lyoya often assisted fellow refugees who were establishing themselves in the Grand Rapids area. Okay, so he was a government worker or non-NGO scumbag. In the United States, Lyoya had a difficult time establishing himself. He did not yet speak the English language very well. Yeah, the whole family doesn't speak English. This is 8 years in America, and they still don't speak English. They have an interpreter. I mean, whatever. Get him out of here. He switched homes frequently, changed blue-collar jobs multiple times, arrested for drunk driving several times, ordered to be assessed for substance abuse disorder. Lyoya telling his friends he was trying to improve his life. Yeah, okay. Everybody says that. He had 2 children and had been living in Grand Rapids about 5 years prior to the incident. Now, the officer, in contrast, received a criminal justice degree from Siena Heights University, May 2014. According to the failing New York Slimes, 4 teammates from Schurr's, this officer, right, the white officer, Schurr's college track team said he was strict with rules, nice, easily angered, not surprising, some questioning whether he had a good temper for a career in law enforcement, right? Joining the police department in Grand Rapids in 2015, Schurr received multiple recommendations, right, from police department leaders due to his chasing of individuals on foot. Oh, yeah, he was a runner. So he chased this guy. 2017 review of his performance resulted with multiple officers praising Schurr's actions. Police Chief Eric Winstrom, that guy, the balder guy, who said, "Oh, I accept this. I respect this decision," initially did not identify him, saying the department would only release the officer's identity if criminal charges were filed, resulting in protests demanding the release of the officer's name from the scumbag black lynch mob and black-hearted lynch mob, because you saw some Antifa supporters of BLM too. You know, the not normal whites who support Black Lives Matter? Because no normal white supports Black Lives Matter, by the way. Not in one. Schurr, per protocol, was placed on paid administrative leave. Yep, rightly so. Police powers suspended pending an investigation from Michigan State Police. Oh yeah, that's safe. The corrupt state of Michigan is going to investigate. You saw that black-hearted lesbian, Dana Nessel. She's a sleazy person. She's the state attorney general, not a Christian at all. Not even raised a Christian. Talking about, oh, I'll take over this investigation or prosecution, whatever. What a shame, huh? They were circulating the name. Listen to this. June 1st, that's just a couple weeks ago, right? Or less, week and a half. The Grand Rapids Association of Pastors. Scumbag pastors. A lot of this stuff you see is going on in churches, this black activism, right? Black-hearted activism. Presenting a document signed by about 70 local pastors and so-called spiritual leaders from multiple denominations, announcing a call for Justice Sunday to be held on Pentecost Sunday, which was just this past June 5th, writing, "Yes, this is a time for anger. Our anger is appropriate. It is justified, and it is even holy." Talking about their anger being holy. They have no place to even speak on this issue. They weren't there. It is anger that comes from admitting that we have created, accepted, and perpetuated a system that trains an officer that to discern his best choice in that moment was to reach for his gun and pull the trigger. Yeah, the guy was allegedly going for his taser and worse. Stop going for my taser. How about don't resist arrest? Are there any other cool photos to show from this? If you see anything cool that you haven't shown already, just go ahead and show these, Chris. But they're showing the Congo flag over the casket of this dead foreigner thug, African thug. Arrest killer cops. Justice for Patrick Lyoya. Say these people who don't have any clue what justice actually is. They're not for justice. Dumb mother with her tears on her eyes. I laugh because it's so phony. Look at this disgusting, dirty people. Dirty, filthy, disgusting, evil people with no concept of justice. Polluting our country. Look at this black power guy with a gun in his hand. Acting like he's, oh, I'll protect you blacks, you fellow blacks, from these racist police. It's our right to live, reads the t-shirt, black t-shirt of one, I want to say dumb black lady, but I don't want to keep on saying dumb in front of the kids that much. But I have no other words. No justice, no peace, freedom, liberty. You have no clue what you're screaming about, black girl. Al Sharpton, Benjamin Crump, black power fists everywhere, communist black power fists everywhere. The fat, crying mother who didn't raise her son right, acting like she's this bereaved woman, and this guy's 26 years old. His father looks like an overgrown, what is that called? What is that when you're not mature? Immature clown. Name the killer cop. They put this guy's face on their hoodies and stuff. Like he's Malcolm X or something. Look at this angry-faced black guy with a ski mask on and a little bullhorn. That's a little itty-bitty bullhorn. What a joke. Anyway, that's a nice little update on Patrick Lyoya. Now you know more than you need to. And you know that nobody decent is on their side. Not one. All the worst trash people. Benjamin Crump, Al Sharpton. What a joke. And the Black Lives Matter agitators. Speaking of blacks, remember yesterday's story about that black who attacked the girl, the white passing girl? I think she's white, or at least white passing. I have some screenshots that I pulled from the you know, that cricket store over in Phoenix, Arizona. This happened on this past Saturday. And by the way, the brother of this guy who assaulted, who was mentally ill, on drugs, transient, kicked out of his own house, family's house, living with his mother at like 33 years old. Michael Cook, I guess was his name. And Malik Cook was the brother, talking about, I hope he gets his life together before he hurts somebody. He hurt my mother too, cracked her open her lip, threw the phone at her or hit her with the phone. This guy has tattoos all over his face, this Malik Cook guy. I don't know, he might be a bad hombre himself. Look at those tattoos. And his face is so dark that you can barely see the tattoos, but there they are. I don't know. That doesn't look like good news. Bad hombre, I say. Maybe he's changed his ways. What kind of tattoos are they? Are these guys Africans too? Cook is a normal last name, though. But anyway, look at these cropped screenshot stills that I grabbed from the video of the assault on this female store employee who apparently was all by herself inside of this cricket store. In addition to pressing charges against this scumbag who beat her up, she should sue that store. I mean, you don't be by yourself even in Phoenix, Arizona, even in broad daylight, because this happened in broad daylight, 5 p.m. roughly. Her face, you can see it's all bloody after he beat her and stomped her, and even though she was covering her head, she broke her nose and needed stitches. Look how red. I mean, this is a very bad low res, rough image, but you see the pink glow and red glow. She was bloody. I'm not using the UK cuss word I'm talking about. Because look at him. He's stomping her. What an evil person. Oh, I'm just mentally ill. I came off my meds. I'm just going to beat this young lady. 33 years old guy on drugs. Oh, yeah, do you have a... And then he took a couple of swings and he missed her, by the way. What a messed up person. But if you look at the face of the girl before she got beaten up by the guy, right before, she looks like a white girl. Or maybe a white Hispanic, but very light skin, even her hair's light colored, light brown, I think. And you could see she's nervous because he's like walking back behind the desk where he doesn't belong. And he takes a swing. I mean, I'm not going to show the video, but I showed like the first 2 seconds on my Telegram where he takes one swing, misses her. But she falls to the ground as he's taking another swing, misses her again. And then he starts to not miss. Such a strong black man, says Matt. Yeah, exactly. And a caller called in yesterday saying, oh, yeah, you can claim mental illness all you want, but these people, they do hate white people. They're brainwashed. And they like that. You know, the mainstream people. They like for people to hate the whites. That's why they can go after the decent cops, apparently decent cops, like this guy, Chrisopher Schurr, who did what he felt he had to do. So wrong. So sick. Let me get to Tony in California. You guys can call in 888-775-3773. No, I know you want me to play the video, but I'm not going to play it. It's too messed up. Tony in California, how are you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Hank. How the heck are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, sir. But I was so surprised yesterday when I was watching this January 6th, as you call it, the peaceful tour they was having. But the thing is,
you watched the hearings yesterday. Congress,
yes.
The unselect committee of a bunch of Trump haters held this phony hearing, and you were a sucker enough to watch it. What do you do with your life?
Come on, Hank.
What do you do with your life?
It was very interesting to see how white people say they love Blue Lives Matter, but then they get to the Capitol and they try to kill them.
Nobody tried to kill any cops.
Oh, my God. It was 140 injuries. 5 cops died behind that mess.
They didn't die from the mess. They died afterwards.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Most of those deaths were suicides, buddy.
Well,
alleged suicides.
Well, white folks do sue.
And they did not kill one cop.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I do know.
I do know. I don't know.
There was one guy. Guy who may have died, perhaps brought on by stress related to it, because he was like 40-something years old.
Yes.
I'm gonna put this guy on hold because he's a sleazy person who can't keep his mouth shut when I'm talking. Officer Brian Sicknick. Rest in peace to Officer Brian Sicknick, who was a Trump supporter, by the way. He may have caught a little pepper spray or something, but he had some brain thing, and he died of like a stroke or something. 40-something years old. I forget what exactly it was. Maybe it was an aneurysm or a stroke or something. But there's no way that you can charge anybody related to that thing. Maybe somebody could sue because frivolous lawsuits are going around. But only Trump supporters died that day, Tony.
Well, it's amazing. I thought Blue Lives Matter.
Why are you so fake, Tony?
What happened to the peaceful protest?
Tony.
You said it was a peaceful protest.
Yeah, it was a mostly peaceful Capitol protest.
140 people get injured. Police officers get injured.
That's what happens when it's overcrowded and people are agitated and there's not enough security. Tony, why are you fake?
Yeah. Why are people agitated, Hank?
Because there were shenanigans. Because there's shenanigans.
No, it was hatred. It was hatred and anger in the air.
Oh, no, hatred and anger is not in the air, Tony.
Why did they?
It's inside of you.
Why did they build
hatred and anger is inside of you, Tony?
Let me ask you a question, Hank.
Tony.
Why did they build a hangar?
Tony.
Who did they plan on hanging out there, Hank?
Not one person.
Yes,
not one person. Hatred and anger is inside of you, Tony.
No, it's not, sir. I didn't go out to the Capitol and hurt no police officers.
Oh, are you saying those are the only hateful, angry people in the whole country?
Well, when you try to overthrow the government, you must be.
They're not trying to overthrow the government. They're trying to preserve the government. Are you saying that they're the only angry, hateful people in the country?
Since this country has developed, white folks are the only hating people here.
You have no clue what you're talking about. That's a joke. That's so silly. You sound so ridiculous.
Ain't no silly.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's silly. You are a hate-filled person because you hate white people.
Where did slavery come from, Hank? White folks.
No, it didn't. That's stupid.
White folks. Where did Jim Crow come from, Hank? White folks. Come on, Hank.
What's wrong with Jim Crow?
What happened to?
What's wrong with Jim Crow?
What's wrong with Jim Crow?
Yeah.
You weren't even born then, so how you going to speak on something you don't even know?
You weren't born then either.
You a lie.
How are you going to speak on it? I asked you what's wrong with Jim Crow. You can't even say.
I experienced Jim Crow. Oh, why we got to go to separate bathroom? Why the black guy go in the back door? Why did Jesse have to go in the back door of the movie theater to go to the movie?
You didn't have to go in the back door. That's a lie. You just made that up.
and
You
sit
got
up top.
caught lying about that to Jesse on
No,
Jesse's show, by the way.
Jesse ain't want to admit it. He ain't want to
Not
admit it.
one
That's the
time
truth.
has Tony called and not lied.
Well, you know what? Ain't one time
He
you
thinks
been
whites are the only hate-filled people in the country.
Haven't been one day you had the truth and y'all haven't lied. Y'all lie every day.
No.
Yes. Yes.
No.
Yeah, okay. But the thing is, why white
Why
folks-
are you talking like a woman?
I'm talking like
Why do you
I'm
talk
talking-
with this high-pitched, fake, concerned voice
No,
like a
I'm trying to-
female?
I'm trying to ask you a question. You trying to avoid a question.
Answer my
Why
question.
do white folks-
Answer
why
my
do white
question.
folks say- answer my question.
No. Why are you talking like a high-pitched, female, fake, concerned woman?
I'm trying to get a question off to you, but you refuse to answer because you white and you hate folks.
Whatever.
You like the Proud Boys. You are like the Proud
Boys are decent, honorable men by and large.
Yeah,
I've not met one non-half decent Proud Boy. I'm sure there's one or two out there who are not.
Your father
half
said the same thing about the KKK. He said
you don't know anything about my father or the KKK.
Yeah, I know.
Come off the KKK. When you condemn Black Lives Matter, then we can talk about the KKK.
Well, show me who they hung. What person they hung from a tree? Black Lives Matter.
I don't know anybody who the KKK hanged either.
Well, ask Jeffrey's grandfather.
KKK's been. That wasn't the KKK. It wasn't the
Yes, it
KKK,
was.
and it wasn't his grandfather either.
Well, who was it? His daddy?
No.
Who? It was somebody related to him.
Yeah, somebody related to him was
got hung by
shot.
the KKK.
It was not the KKK.
It wasn't KKK. Come on.
No, it wasn't. You're just making stuff up. You're blaming the KKK for every lynching and interracial violent crime that happened, and it wasn't the KKK. You don't even have a clue what you're talking about.
Okay.
BLM kills cops. BLM kills cops.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, see, you don't even know. You're ignorant.
You want to put it on the BLM.
Typical
but it wasn't the
phony.
BLM.
You want to put it on the KKK? What happened between Jesse's great granddaddy and his white neighbors?
Okay.
You have no clue.
Well, hey, they had hatred in their heart.
You don't.
They wasn't. They was Christians.
You have hatred in your heart.
What's
the big deal?
They was Christians. They were Christians with hatred.
You don't even know anything about Christians.
Come on now. That's what Christians do. They hate.
You're dumb.
Oh, come on now. Let me ask you a question.
You're a joke.
No, I'm going to ask you this one question.
Your kids don't even respect you, Tony.
Well, see, now you stepping past your boundaries. Don't talk about
I'm not. No, your kids do not respect you at all. You're a joke of a person.
Don't know my damn kids, Hank.
Don't cuss.
Okay.
Don't cuss.
Don't talk. But keep your kids.
I'm gonna talk about your kids because you are a phony person.
You can't have no because a female won't even deal with your.
You don't know anything about that.
You ain't got no kids.
You're just trying to turn it around on me. But you're a joke of a person, Tony.
You gay? Hey, Hank, ain't you gay?
No.
You is
Are
gay.
you?
You ain't got
Are
no
you, Tony?
female.
Tony.
You ain't got no female.
I don't have to have a female to not be gay. That's dumb.
You 50 years old ain't got no kids.
Tony.
You is 50 years old ain't got no kids, Hank.
And?
You gay.
That doesn't mean anything.
You
You're
don't deal with no female. You don't deal with no female, and you gay.
Tony, your kids do not respect you at all.
Okay, that's your. You know what thing?
Because you are not a respectable person. You're a joke.
Everybody got one. You got an opinion.
No. Everybody can see that you're a joke.
You are definitely gay because you ain't got no.
Goodbye. Anyway, thank you, Tony. Nice call. Another super chat from Best Kisser Bibby 42. Hake, I finally get it. Tony is an unmarried woman who needs a man to lead her. I'll pray that Tony finds herself a decent, moral, ethical, honorable man. No, man. Why are white folks? Oh, this January 6th thing was so interesting. Can you imagine anybody taking a grown adult man like that seriously? When all he does is call into the show and talk about memes, the fake memes that he believes in. White folks so hateful. Christians so hateful. The KKK. KKK barely exists. And I think that we're not told the truth about how and why they started. I heard that it was in reaction to the feds occupying the area. They were not happy. But let me get to a guy who's telling the truth about the January 6th situation and Black Lives Matter. This is the boy who said the emperor has no clothes, but this is a grown man, and this grown man apologized after it. Okay, so this dumb liberal tweeted, this legal analyst for CNN, a blue checkmark on Twitter, Norm Eisen, tweeted, as the 1/6 committee hearings draw near, we must understand the whole story of January 6th, our new Brookings government report. We offer a guide including potential federal and state criminal charges for Trump and his allies, says this evil blue checkmark on Twitter. Norm Eisen, probably not a Christian, by the way. Trump on trial, a guide to the January 6th hearings. And if you zoom in on this photograph, it has 5 jokes of people. 5 Tony from California's up here. It has Peter Schiff, Shifty Schiff. It has some female politician, Democrat. It has black scumbag Benny Johnson, who's a black radical, has always hated white people, does not belong in the government. Liz Cheney, daughter of Dick Cheney, the former vice president. This Liz Cheney woman, her sister is a lesbian and she's an evil person. She hates Trump. And then it has Adam Kinzinger, who's this joke of a person, too. Former Air Force. Oh, yeah, he helped stop some crime one time. I read that to you yesterday. Adam Kinzinger, an anti-Trump liberal, adult male, rhino, wants to root out white supremacy from the so-called Republican Party. What a scumbag. I forget what the name of that female Democrat is. And I'm not talking about Liz Cheney because she pretends to be a Republican. So in response to this tweet from this blue checkmark liberal, Jack Del Rio, who is a coach for the Washington Redskins, he tweeted June 6th to Norm Eisen in Brookings government. I would love to understand the whole story about why the summer of riots, looting, burning, and the destruction of personal property plus murder is never discussed, but this is, question mark, question mark, question mark, hashtag common sense. And that's Jack Del Rio. I don't know if he's Hispanic or a white Hispanic or what. Haven't really looked into him. The Washington Redskins, they pretend to call themselves the Washington football team and then later the Washington Commanders. So dumb. And so this dumb blue checkmark guy also on Twitter, Real Stan VG, short for who knows what, said Black Lives Matter protesters saw a police officer kneel on a black, and he capitalizes the B in the word black because he's a coward kiss-up, black man's neck for 9 minutes while 3 other officers looked on. The Capitol rioters saw their hero lose a free and fair election. Stephen Van Gundy. Oh, okay. I thought VG stood for something different. Probably does, really. What a dumb take. What a liar, huh? So this guy was asked about it in a press conference. Clip 12. Darren M. Hayes tweeted this, who is a blue checkmark, 9-time Emmy award-winning sports director, anchor, former ESPN Sports Center anchor, meaning he's a liberal, man of God, father, husband, black, Hall of Famer, UConn basketball fan. So this blue check Darren M. Hayes tweeted this. Commanders, D.C., I forget what D.C. is, Jack Del Rio, on his tweet comparing George Floyd protests to the so-called insurrection. He calls it insurrection. This is a member of the media calling it an insurrection. What a joke, huh? At the Capitol on January 6th, and here's the clip of him defending his tweet to the media. This is the football coach. Here's Jack del Rio talking. Listen to this.
I just asked a simple question. Really, let's get right down to it. What did I ask? A simple question. Why are we not looking into those things? If we're going to talk about it, why are we not looking into those things? Because it's kind of hard for me to say. I can realistically look at it. I see the images on TV. People's livelihoods are being destroyed. Businesses are being burned down. No problem. And then we have a dust-up at the Capitol. Well, there's nothing burned down. And we're not going to talk about, we're going to make that a major deal. I just think it's kind of two standards. And if we apply the same standard, and we're going to be reasonable with each other, let's have a discussion. That's all it was. Let's have a discussion. We're Americans. Let's talk it through. I'm for us, having a great opportunity to have a fulfilled life. Like I said, every which way I can. When I'm here, it's about love and respect. I love my guys. I respect my guys. But I also love the fact that I'm an American, and that means I'm free to express myself. And I'm not afraid to do that.
Well, this was quote tweeted by this sleazy, phony politician, Jeremy McPike, who has a Ukraine flag. He's a state senator of, I guess, Virginia, 29th District, from the same area, right? He has a Ukraine flag and a peace sign, which is two opposite things. If you have if you have a Ukraine flag, then you're not for peace. Because if you were for peace, you would be for Ukraine surrendering and ending the war. But this guy's not for peace. He said, yep, just sealed the deal to cast my vote as a no. I think what's burning down today is the stadium bill. I guess there's a stadium bill. And this phony politician is mad because this guy said something he has the right to say. And so he's turning petty. And there were all kinds of headlines about this. WUSA 9, which I looked at their Twitter bio of WUSA 9, and it has this rainbow BLM transgender flag emoji thing with black and brown on it. Let's see. WUSA 9 Twitter profile. Pride matters. And they're out of D.C. Figures. Washington, D.C., one of the dirtiest towns you can imagine. Vulgar. Who knew? I didn't know that growing up until very recently. After Pizzagate, I guess is when I started to find out. Because they had that radical homosexual pizza place / bar. And not to mention most of those people, so many of those people in D.C. are just so filthy. And then they let the crime go out of control. So it's a mixture of moral degenerates and criminals. But look at that. Isn't that so disgusting? And their pinned tweet is, oh, watch unseen footage of January 6th. Testimonies from an officer and documentarian who witnessed the attack. So-called attack at the Capitol. Here's the first entire hearing of the House Unselect Committee investigating the Capitol mostly peaceful protests, which they call a riot. So they have an agenda, and their headline said, Commander's Defensive Coordinator, DC stands for Defensive Coordinator, calls the Capitol riots a dust-up. Accurate. Virginia State Senator calls the comments highly inflammatory. And so this guy later apologized. Another headline, a bunch of headlines actually. NBC 12, Commander's coach sorry after calling the Capitol insurrection, which is fake news, calling it an insurrection, a dust-up. Another headline from the far left Guardian. The Guardian, foreign outlet. Oh yeah, I already read that one. NPR so-called news. Far left National Public Radio. Washington Commanders defensive coordinator calls January 6th riot a dust-up. So it makes all these headlines. And so what does this guy do? Coach Del Rio? This man who's not afraid to speak his mind, under pressure, loves his family, man of faith, passion for football and its intensity, music, golfing, fishing, chilling on the beach. He tweeted June 8th, after all this attack and under pressure, I made comments earlier today in referencing the attack, he called it an attack, oh gosh, that took place at the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Referencing that situation as a dust-up was irresponsible. No, it wasn't, dude. And negligent. No, it wasn't. And I am sorry. No, you're not. I stand by my comments condemning violence in communities across the country. Duh, that's not controversial, dummy. Sorry, man. I say that while also expressing my support as an American citizen for peaceful protest in our country. I don't support scumbags so-called peacefully protesting. I don't. I have fully supported all peaceful protests in America. You shouldn't. That's what's surrendering the country. And they're not peaceful anyway. I love, respect, and support all my fellow coaches, players, and staff that I work with and respect their views and opinions. Why can't they respect yours then? And you walk back the statement you said that was true. So weak. But, you know, I saw this covered by a former guest on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. He's been on the Fallen State multiple times, spoke at the men's conferences. Brandon Tatum, the former cop, the black guy. Kind of a normie at times, but a decent, pretty sincere guy. Said, where are you as a man? Granted, we don't know, his situation. We've never been and had, millions of dollars at stake or whatever. But it's so weak. That's why Trump was so refreshing when he did not back down from making these statements. Because the simple truth is powerful and refreshing. It's like a relief. It's thrilling to hear the truth. Tucker Carlson wrote an article saying that the truth is thrilling. It was 2015 or 2016 when Trump was running for office. He wrote it in this outlet called Politico or maybe some other outlet that Trump told the truth, and that's why he's so has so much energy behind him. And Brandon Tatum also brought up there was some other person, I forget, Drew Brees, who also apologized after saying something. A player. New Orleans Saints quarterback Drew Brees issued 2 separate apologies Thursday for his comments about kneeling during the national anthem because he said something like he will never agree with anybody disrespecting the flag of the United States of America or our country. Because he had a grandpa or a father or something who fought in the wars for America, supposedly, right? These wars that were supposedly for America, but somehow we're worse off, like World War II. I don't know which wars. But the point is, yes, whether you're kneeling or you're sitting like a bump on a log, like this scumbag Colin Kaepernick, who is not a respectable person, another joke of a person with a clownish afro, half white, raised by whites, dating a Egyptian Muslim SJW female, turning all like he's a SJW hero now, Nike propping him up, setting a bad example for kids, falsely accusing cops of murder, getting away with murder when it's the blacks getting away with murder. We need black reform, not police reform. And this guy said, I don't agree with that. I'm not going to do that. But he apologized twice. This Drew Brees guy. Shameful. apologizing for being right. Anyway, we're at the top of the hour, guys. Before I get back to calls, I have your favorite Richard in San Francisco, California coming up. But first, we got to play this music that I disavow from the Hidden Cameras. This track is entitled Shame. Hope you like it, or just leave the room. I don't think it's too explicit, but anyway. I will read more of your super chats as well, guys, and some other items to cover. Britney Spears getting married a third time. Shameful. What a disappointment. Anyway, here it is, guys. The Hidden Cameras. Shame. And I'll be back for hour 2. Hang tight.
Shame, 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 shame. Lift my legs, 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 and drop the complaints. Your life and your wife, of your life, of your wife, of your life, just drop the love and pick up man, 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 and invite them.
Is nice. Beta bear. Look at that bear. Cute. This is the worst. Better than most of Hake's music. There goes Earl. Cute. We're showing squirrels, bears, sky, three-legged cat at the beginning. So good. Thank goodness it's over. Oh, it's not over. So repetitive, it's causing anxiety. Shut it down. Squirrel was epic, though. Well, thank you, guys. The Kumbaya genre. Terrible. Kumbaya, my lord. Tambourine solo coming up. Sounds like a dog dying. Music sounds exactly the same if you play it in reverse. Well, anyway, guys, let me read a few super chats here before we get to calls. It is from streamlabs.com/The Hake Report. King Alpha Nerd states, Tony, every race was enslaved. The enslavement of blacks started with other blacks, and blacks were slave owners that owned and sold black people. If you hate white people so much, go to the moon with the rest of the black Jews. John WX25 says, leave it to the fifth to choose the side of trash with almost 4 times the legal limit. Yeah. Clean cut with nothing but commendations, protecting the innocent from trash that easily could have killed people if not stopped. Okay, Tony, tell us he could have been a rapper. And John WX25 is talking about the Honorable Chrisopher, the Honorable Cop, seemingly, from Grand Rapids, Michigan, 7-year cop, Chrisopher Schurr, Schurr. And Indeed versus blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Sleazy people, huh? So wrong. Matt, over there in the chat, said those wars ended the USA. Yeah, I don't know if there's one war that left us better off. The Civil War, we were worse off for it. We lost a lot of rights and freedoms. The federal government got stronger. 600,000 Americans died. And the blacks are still, they're even less happy. At least now. And then, yeah, anyway. Let me get to Richard in San Francisco, California. How are you doing, Richard?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing?
Fine. Right on.
I love that interaction between you and Tony.
You loved it? You love mess?
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Thought it was hilarious.
Oh, good.
Good point.
You thought I had good points? Yeah. Nobody respects.
Yeah, I mean,
not one person respects Tony.
Or not. Is Tony married?
I don't know.
Does he have kids?
I believe so. Apparently he does.
How are you going to tell somebody that his kids don't respect him? Did you talk to his kids?
I don't have to talk to his kids. I can tell that his kids do not respect him.
Are you the kid's therapist?
No.
Okay, then how?
Do you think his kids need? I'm glad you agree. His kids need therapy.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're their therapist and you say, and the kids have told you that they don't respect them, then yeah, I guess you could say that. But do you think a grown adult male who calls into 2 shows whom he hates, goes around hating white people, lies every time he gets on air,
You think that such a man's kids such a male, grown adult male's kids would respect him?
I mean, if that's what you're saying is, do you think anybody should respect you because you don't agree with what's going on in the United States right now?
Answer my
cry
question.
About it and whine about it. Did anybody respect you?
Answer my question. Do you think anybody? Do you think Tony's kids respect him?
Yeah. If he's got kids and they respect him, then sure.
You think they respect him even though he's a total clown?
What's he being a clown about?
Calls in, talking about the January 6th and white folks created evil and they created slavery and Jim Crow and they're the only hateful people in the country. And the January 6th people were the only hateful people in the country.
Jim Crow laws?
You were talking over me, so I guess you didn't hear me ask the question. You think that somebody should respect a clown like that?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I can't really give an opinion about somebody I really don't know, because when he gave an assumption about you, you kind of got upset about it.
No.
When he called you gay, you're like, oh, wait a minute. I mean, there's...
but I didn't make any assumption about his kids. No human being would respect no human being respects.
That was the assumption.
No human being respects a dishonest man.
That's your assumption. Have you talked to every human being?
Well, I don't have to talk to every human being. No, I have not talked to every human being.
Okay, so how would you know that every human being disrespects?
Same way that I know that the human beings don't respect you, because you too are a silly person.
I'm not looking for other people's respect.
I know, but you don't even have self-respect. You don't have self-respect either.
Oh, I have self-respect.
No, you don't.
That's me, myself. That's myself. I have respect for myself.
That's not respect, though.
I don't need other people to tell me, oh, you don't have respect for yourself. Well,
that's not respect, because you don't cling to honesty.
Cling to honesty? What am I being dishonest about?
You think that it's fine for the transgender kids to turn all transgender?
Again, that's not me.
What's that?
That's not me.
And then you can't deal with the fact that the black on white crime is out of control. You don't even know that stuff. How out of control the black
crime?
Yeah. And black crime in general.
Well, I thought you said you don't see race. Didn't we just go by it's crime?
I didn't say that I don't see race. I don't know where you made that up.
Shouldn't we not see race? Why can't we just call it crime? Why are you going to put a race in front of it?
Because the blacks are committing the crimes more frequently. And they're pretending to be the victims when they're more often the perpetrators. And that's what's bringing on their deaths at the hands of police and stuff like that.
Do you want to create more Jim Crow laws? Go back to segregation?
What's that have to do with anything?
Community? Huh?
What's that have to do with anything? This is why is why you don't get respect, Richard.
Do you think what should we do? I'm asking you, what should we do?
Enforce the law, defund single mothers, don't kiss up to don't kiss up to false black victimhood, and just tell the truth and not back down. Unlike how this guy did, he told the truth. Richard, I'm talking. Richard, I'm talking. Unlike this, I'm going to put you on hold if you can't be quiet. Unlike this coach who told the truth but backed down, tell the truth and don't back down. That would help.
Wuss move?
That would help.
Isn't that a wuss move? So he couldn't even stand by what he said, so he backed down.
But you can't even tell the truth in the first place. You're not one to judge. You're not one to judge. It is beta, but you're not one to judge, Richard.
It's a beta move, right? He's not alpha. You
don't know anything about alpha or beta.
Oh, you do. You know everything about alpha.
I didn't say anything about me, but you're the one trying to judge. You're trying to judge another man when you can't even tell the truth in the first place. At least he told the truth in the first place.
Does that make him beta or does that make him alpha?
I already answered your question.
This show is all about being alpha, right?
No, I already answered your question, Richard.
So it's pretty beta, right?
Yes. And so are you.
So, and then I asked you...
And so are you, Richard.
Isn't this show about alpha, being alpha?
No.
Not backing down?
Right. That's what I just said, Richard. That was my whole point.
If this show is about alpha, why do you keep acting like a beta?
What are you talking about?
You complain about everything.
I'm telling the truth about what's going on. I'm not complaining.
You're not really telling the truth. I said you're complaining.
But that's your spin on it.
No, it's not my spin. You're complaining. You don't like that gun crime. Go do something. Why don't you run for office?
Why do I have to run for office? I'm running a show right now.
Does it create change?
Some people, maybe so. I don't know.
No, doubt it.
You don't know. What are you calling into my show for? Does it create change?
No, you didn't create any change. You didn't change my mind.
You're calling my show. That's a change.
No, you didn't change my views or mine.
I don't care about changing your views or mine. You're not an honest person.
So you have done nothing. I'm just being argumentative.
Right.
It doesn't change anything.
You're being beta.
Argumentative is beta?
Yes.
That's your whole platform.
No, it's not.
You shouldn't be alpha. You shouldn't be nowhere near alpha.
Anyway, your kids don't respect you either, Richard.
Why?
Or your son, or your whoever it is.
Whoever it is?
Yeah.
Why don't they respect you?
Because you're not a respectable person.
Wait, what makes me not respectable? Because I don't care about trans people? Because I don't care about gays? Because I don't care about white?
Yeah, you don't care about truth.
Don't care about black? That's what makes me disrespectful.
You don't care about truth.
What truth? There's a difference between truth and fact.
Exactly. There's a big difference between truth and facts. That's one true statement that you've made.
A true statement?
Yeah. There's a big difference between truth and facts, and you have neither one.
So are you saying that there are more school shootings in other countries than there are in the United States?
See, what a clown.
I'm just asking. Is that a fact or is that true?
That's a fact, and that's not true. It's not truth.
What's not true?
It's not truth. That's not the whole truth.
That if there are more school shootings in the United States than any other first world nation.
Those aren't first world nations, buddy.
I'm asking. Does the United States have more school shootings than any other first world nation?
Why are you changing the subject from truth?
I'm not changing the subject.
Yes, you are. You're changing the subject from truth.
There's a difference between truth and fact.
Right. And you have no truth, and you don't have much.
Don't know that.
And you don't have much in the way of facts.
America does rank #1 in school shootings.
But America is so much bigger of a country, buddy. You don't know. You don't know the whole truth.
Hey! I'm not asking the size of the country. I'm asking: is it a truth or is it a fact?
That's a fact. If it's even a fact, it's an irrelevant fact, though, Richard.
I'm glad you can finally agree.
Richard, it's an irrelevant fact.
It's not an irrelevant fact.
Yes, it is.
I didn't ask you if it. I just asked you: is it true and is it a fact that America has the most school shootings?
And I don't even know, Richard.
Out of every first world nation.
Why don't you go to some of the other first world nation?
Why? I have roots here. I grew up here. I haven't been shot yet, so I guess I'm doing something right.
Yeah, I guess so.
I called because you and Tony had a very funny argument to where you assumed that his kids don't respect him.
No, that's not an assumption.
You assume that you are gay because you don't have a wife or kids.
It's not an assumption.
Okay, so why should a kid?
Isn't it logical? Isn't it logical? Isn't it logical for
that you might be gay? It's logical.
All right, goodbye, Richard.
Why get mad?
Because you're not having an honest conversation. You're a clown.
You got mad at him. He got mad at you for talking about his kids, which another man who is alpha would realize would never bring someone else's kids.
Why would that be alpha?
If it's about you
why would that be alpha to not be honest with a man?
You're not being honest with a man. You don't know his kids.
But I know him, and he is a joke of a person. Just like you are a joke of a person.
A joke that you could be gay and you didn't like it.
But that has nothing to do with whether he's an honorable man or not.
You didn't like it. You got mad, and that's why you hung up.
That has nothing to do. Well, he's getting vulgar, so I'm not going to just go along with it.
Because he got offended that you were talking about his kids.
Right. No, I talked about him.
I don't talk about anybody else's kids. If I'm having a conversation between you and me, even though you don't have kids, even though I
then why are you talking about me? You see, you're trying to talk about my personal life. He went personal because I went personal. But I was true about the personal, and he was dishonest about the personal thing.
you went personal first.
Right.
You didn't go personal first.
I know. He went personal because he couldn't stand the fact that he's not an honorable person.
He went first.
I got to go,
you
Richard.
Went personal first, and then you
I got to
didn't
go,
like it.
Richard.
Hey, take your time. You can always be mad.
All right, goodbye. Let me get to Jeremiah, first-time caller, not a first-time caller, in Louisiana. Jeremiah, how are you doing?
Yes, is the day.
Jeremiah, your phone's messed up. We gotta fix your phone. Let me get to this another messed up family situation. Britney Spears. CNN claims that Britney Spears is getting happily ever after. But she's not. 40-year-old woman. I've covered this already a little bit because she was pregnant, but there's a little update on that. This 40-year-old woman, a pop singer, you know her, Britney Spears, and her quote-unquote partner, what is she, a lesbian? 28-year-old, 12 years younger, 28-year-old Iranian or Persian guy, Sam Asghari, a male model, actor, personal trainer, 2.4 million IG followers, 12 years younger than her. They're embarking on an exciting new chapter. They've been together since 2016. She got pregnant by him at least once already. But the baby died in a miscarriage because she's 40. But she already has 2 kids. So what's she doing being with him? Ages 15 and 16 from that male dancer, Kevin Federline. Federline, is that how you say it? Her second ex-husband. She was already married. This is now her 3rd marriage. Her first husband was Jason Allen Alexander, who was her childhood friend. And they were married 55 hours, 2 days, 2.5 days in 2004 before it was annulled. And that guy was reportedly arrested. So she has hangers on for trespassing and battery on her property the day of her 3rd wedding. He got in a fight with security guards. He was this cringy Free Britney supporter, Jason Allen Alexander. Not to be confused with that guy from Seinfeld. He was at the Capitol protest too, by the way. Trump supporter. He's a big-time Trump supporter. Nice guy. But what a mess. What a miserable lady. Turn on the AC. Britney Spears. What a disappointment. But that's the Mickey Mouse Club for you. She was in the Mickey Mouse Club, one of those Disney people. And a messed up family. And a messed up life. Let me get to DIANTE out of Alabama. DIANTE, how are you doing? Jeremiah hung up.
All is well.
Hey.
All is well. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you.
I just have a quick question on your thoughts on the gas prices.
Okay.
So I was talking to a friend not too long ago, and he made the point to say that it isn't Joe Biden's fault necessarily about the gas, but the gas, because he's saying that Joe Biden does not have control over the gas prices. And I'm asking you, do you believe it is Joe Biden's fault that the gas prices are high, or do you believe it is the gas companies just making it more expensive?
I have no idea. I think it is definitely in part the Biden administration's fault because they were not, they didn't allow for new drilling, and they basically have an attack on our independence, our energy independence. But it's more like his ilk. And then we also have I think the shutdowns did not help. You know, the communist shutdowns in the name of the China virus. Mm-hmm. So I heard that the gas companies Most of those are commie capitalist corporations. How's this stream doing, guys? Press 1 if it's fine. So maybe you could lay a little bit of blame on the gas companies, but I think it's more the policies.
Well, the question is, well, if it's supply and demand, right? If the demand is high and the supply is low, the prices will raise. But it seems like right now, even with all of the Biden administration's policies, it doesn't seem like we're low on supply on gas. I haven't been anywhere lately, and they're saying we're out of gas. It just seems like the prices are climbing, but the supply isn't changing, unless they're paying more for the oil that they're getting. But I'm not sure if that's the case either. And then if it isn't the administration's fault, right? Let's just say if. Do you put the blame on the gas companies for just, surcharging or like putting more charges on the gas?
No, not necessarily. I mean, they're taking advantage of the situation, like is predictable. We could be energy independent. We have enough. There's enough oil under, I think, Texas to fund us for like hundreds of years. I mean, for us to subsist on as far as energy goes, for I think I saw something like hundreds of years. But under Trump, we had energy independence. But under these people, we have a push to go towards electric vehicles. It's all a scam, a scheme. Obama was doing the same thing. He brought the gas prices up. He brought energy. He went after the coal mining, which is coal is powering a lot of electricity, and these people shut down the nuclear power plants for other type of electricity energy. So
I don't think you're getting what I'm saying though.
You want me to pretend that it's not Biden's fault? In order to blame the gas companies, gasoline companies?
I don't think you get what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say is that if they are, because you're saying, oh well, if we're energy independent, if we're just pumping from home, the prices will go down. But the point I'm trying to make is that if it is not a shortage, and even if they're pumping from home, are they going to bring the prices down? It's because that's all on them. It's not really on, okay, yeah, you're right. It would be cheaper to pay from home, right? But if the business still says, hey, we're still going to charge $5 a gallon, even if we're pumping from home, that doesn't do anything for the American people. It just does something for the business. They have a bigger profit margin. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it truly the administration's fault, or is it that the gas companies are just greedy? I don't know. I'm not here to say either way. I'm just putting the argument out there because I heard it.
The administration, don't buy it, because yes, there is a lot of corrupt, like collusion or whatever between like OPEC. OPEC is like a oil conglomerate or organization. I think it's like more overseas, the Middle East. And there's like this agreement to like ration out the gas so that it kind of artificially stays high. They do the same thing with a lot of industries like diamonds and stuff like that. But
right, and that's the same exact thing they're saying. It's just like diamonds, and now they're doing it to the housing industry.
They're scapegoating these companies. And yeah, I'm sure the companies are no angels. But it's not as though they have no power over these companies. And they think about who benefits from this. The Biden administration benefits from the suffering, or the people with the agenda to get people off of gas vehicles, off of our energy independence, into electric vehicles. They are for that. The radical environmentalist types, the commie capitalists.
Well, that's fair, and I agree with that argument 100%. But the gas company also is going to capitalize off of it because they will have bigger profit margins. If they're not paying any difference, because they've been, like I said, they've been saying that they're going to find other people to produce oil and find oil from. So it doesn't seem like we have a shortage of oil.
Who's they?
The Biden administration.
Oh, no, they're not honest.
I mean, nobody's honest.
No. But you're giving them a pass for being dishonest, saying nobody's honest.
No, I'm not giving them a pass. All I'm saying is that.
But they're dishonest. They're specifically dishonest people. What?
I'm saying the gas companies are just as corrupt.
That may be, but you can't. It takes two to tango. The gas prices were corrupt.
We're not giving them any credit.
Hold on, man.
It seems like we're only pointing fingers.
Hold on, man. The gas companies were just as corrupt under the Trump administration and under every other administration when we had lower gas prices. What changed?
What changed is that they said that they can't get oil from Russia anymore.
That's part of it. The overreaction to the Russia-Ukraine thing. That was under pressure from the political people who want to, the globo homo types. What changed is not just Russia, too. That's just a scapegoat, too. They're trying to say, oh, this Russia war, when this thing was going up way before the Russia war even started. This stuff was a problem during the China virus scamdemic when they were shutting stuff down, I believe. And then Biden, here's a super chat from John WX25. Biden stopped drilling leases. We were the largest oil-producing country in the world. Now Biden is begging Saudi Arabia to pump more, and Saudi Arabia is thinking, why you want to put us out of business with your global warming garbage? So there's a lot of that's Biden administration policies that changed the landscape. The first thing he did was shut down the oil pipeline, the Keystone XL pipeline, I think. And
I agree with that. What do you think I'm saying? Maybe we're just not on the same page.
But I'm just telling you, this is what changed. And the oil companies were always, let's say the oil companies are corrupt. I'm pretty sure you're right about that. They were corrupt under Trump, and Trump was able to work with them so that we had decent gas prices. Now we have Biden in office, and it's out of control. And yes, we overreacted to Russia. Yes, we overreacted, meaning the locals overreacted to the whole world, overreacted to the China virus. But we have the environmentalism push. That's what's adding the stressor on these companies.
And do you believe, with those stresses, do you believe that the gas companies are taking advantage of all of that and pushing the prices up more?
I'm sure they are. How about let's not give them the excuse by not having the environmentalists like Joe Biden in there.
So we do agree that the gas companies are taking advantage.
I assume that they are.
Can we say we agree or disagree?
I assume that they are. Why shouldn't they?
I mean, it's just the world that we live in. I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't. I'm just bringing up the argument, and I think it's something we should discuss because all I hear is Biden, Biden, Biden.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're losing accountability for other people. We're just talking about politics.
I know, but how are you and I going to hold the gas companies accountable?
By bringing it up, talking about it, speaking on it in a public sphere.
I know, but they're not accountable to us. The only thing that changed was the Biden administration, really.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I'm not a Biden fan at all. I'm not a Democrat at all.
Yeah.
I'm a MAGA guy, but I just thought it was an interesting thing that somebody brought to me, and I thought it would be interesting to talk to you about.
Yeah, I'm sure, I'm no fan of any major corporation today because they all support this agenda. They're in bed with the government.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, they're not for the people either.
Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. I just wanted to call and just kind of just.
Do you know what companies that those might be?
Which ones?
The so-called gas companies that you were blaming.
No, sir, I don't.
Okay. Interesting, man. Yeah, but I would say don't fall for the idea that it's anything other than basically evil people, both in the government and in the corporations.
Yeah, I mean, I'm well aware. I believe that there's a lot of different moving parts that make the world go around. So I know it's not just one factor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that you shouldn't try to make a profit. I'm not saying that either. I don't.
No, I'm saying why shouldn't they? Because they're gonna do what they can get away with.
But I mean, we say the same thing about the politicians.
Right.
They can do whatever they want. They're gonna get. You know, why not? If they can get away with it, you know, it doesn't make it right. So. Interesting stuff.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I appreciate it, DIANTE.
Well, thank you for having me call. Thank you for having my call, and I appreciate talking to you every single time. And you have a great day, buddy.
Nice, man. You too. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Some more super chats, guys. Corlick on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report. We were oil independent under Trump, so we have had a buffer from the international reaction to the war if we were still independent. Yeah, and we weren't falling for the fake environmentalism stuff. Lord Bibby 42 says, Hake, Richard has no desire to have a conversation. He just wants to try to get on your nerves. There is nothing there. He's a sad joke. He isn't entertaining. He isn't interesting. He's just going to keep it up. Ban this fool. Wow. Lin Yen Chin says, like most women before her, Richard is lost on tangents of defending her vanity, aka insecurity. She can't focus her mind because it's fixated on standing firm in fickle and haughty influx of self. And this and self that. She is led by Satan, aka insecurity. Ouch. Pretty cold. Press 1 if the Odyssey is working. I think it is. I reset the stream. I'm not seeing my YouTube chat in Restream, so I have to click over here. Nice. Let me get to Joe in Idaho on the line. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm very well, Hake. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, I just wanted to tell you about an event that's happening in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho this weekend. They're going to have a pride event, and it's supposed to be quote unquote family friendly. They're going to have a drag show, and there's a good group of people called the Panhandle Patriots that are going to march. They're going to have a prayer march.
Yeah.
To counter protest, to oppose these degenerates. And then they're going to have a rally. And supposedly Antifa is going to show up to, quote unquote, protect the gays from conservatives. So it should get interesting.
I heard about this. I saw some of it on Real Vincent James's Telegram and on TKR Official's Telegram, Asmodor's. It is... Yeah. That's Antifa showing up to attack the decent people.
Yeah, exactly.
And I saw some Christians speaking out against the madness because the city council in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, was talking about, oh, let's capitulate to the Satanic Temple. We don't want to get sued by the Satanic Temple for having a prayer, opening our meetings with a prayer. So sick and evil.
One of the sponsors. The Satanic Temple was one of the sponsors of this.
And the Satanic Temple are a bunch of SJW liberals.
Yeah.
Atheists who hate Christians and whites. So, man, what a sick world. Coeur d'Alene, Coeur d'Alene is such a nice little place. And they're, like, this is why you can't run. You stand and fight it out. You know, because they're going to follow you. They pretend, oh, we just want to be left alone. Well, they can't leave the Christians alone. They can't leave the whites alone. They want to invade.
They can't leave the children alone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sick, perverted, evil people.
Yep.
You're going to be over there?
I'll be there.
Okay, well, be careful, man. Don't, I know you can take care of yourself, but but be alert and be wise. Head on a swivel.
Oh yeah.
And don't go in there looking for trouble.
Oh no, I won't. Whenever I've gone to any of these types of things where Antifa's around, I'm very careful. And
that's right. You're from Portland.
I know.
I mean, you spent a lot of time in Portland living there.
Oh yeah, so I've been around Antifa a lot, and I used to go to rallies where they showed up to cause trouble.
Yeah.
So I know what to do around them because I know all their tricks.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well.
But yeah, it should get pretty crazy.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. And I know people are bringing guns too.
It doesn't sound like a good situation.
No. I mean, Antifa always shows up with guns now, and they're trigger happy.
Right.
They're not trained. They don't, and they're on drugs, so they might. Who knows what they're going to do?
Yeah.
I hope nothing bad happens.
I know. It's wild.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Joe.
One more thing I want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say one more thing about that Richard character from San Francisco. Actually, two things I want to say. Keep in mind that with everything he says, remember the other day I asked him point blank, because it used to be legal in San Francisco to walk around naked, and there were people that did walk around naked on the street. And I asked him point blank, do you think it's acceptable for an adult man to be naked in front of a little child on the street? And he said, yeah, he had no problem with that.
He said that?
So that tells you. He said that, yeah. So that tells
there was so much going on. I didn't pick up with that.
Degenerate. Yeah, it was. Well, that's when I called him a degenerate, and he said, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, maybe Child Protective Services needs to look in on his kids.
Yeah, I mean, people are so evil that this type of stuff is accepted, and people are outraged that in Texas they're investigating parents of children who they help them do this transition stuff. The parents who help their children go through this fake transition.
Yeah, that's evil. That's pure evil. Those parents should have their kids taken away from them, and the parents should be locked up.
Yeah, it's wild. Well, thank you, Joe.
That's child abuse. Sure.
All right. Take care. Let me know how it goes.
I will. Take care.
All right. Simon in the Netherlands, a first-time caller. Simon, how are you doing? Simon, are you there? Come off of mute. Simon, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
No worries. What's up?
Thanks for taking my call. I only wanted to make a short point. I listen a lot to the church service, and last Sunday there was said that the German government disarmed their residents or the people in Germany during World War II. You remember?
Vaguely. I remember that Jesse made the point that when the government takes away the guns of the people are helpless, and it's easy to do whatever you want to them.
Yes.
So it's unwise.
And what really happened was, I don't know if you are aware that in the United States, when the war broke out with Japan, they put the Japanese in camps in the United States.
Right, because they had the face of the enemy.
Exactly.
Right.
And the same happened in Germany when Adolf Hitler came to power. 2 months after he was in office, in New York, in all newspapers around the world was the title, Judea declares war on Germany. That was 2 months after Adolf Hitler came into office.
Which country?
The worldwide Jewish community came together after Adolf Hitler was elected or was in office.
Oh, okay.
And they declared war on Germany, announced it in all newspapers. You can even find the titles of the newspapers and the pages today. and declared to boycott all German goods and products in all businesses and shops around the world.
Wow.
In New York, they the German products out of the shops and burned them on the streets. And that was the reason that the Jews in Germany got declared as enemy of the state and were disarmed because it was too dangerous to have them the arms or let them have the arms, the weapons.
So he did
so
kind of. So you're saying he did kind of like what FDR did, Roosevelt, in putting them in internment camps, like we did with the like FDR did with the Japanese. They did that with the Jews. So he disarmed only the Jews, not the population at large.
Exactly, that is my point. He disarmed only the people declared as enemy of the state.
Okay.
And at this time, the Jews got declared as enemy of the state because they declared earlier war on Germany. And this is not a lie. I didn't want to argue or debate. It is only, I want at least in part to get the truth out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you. That was separate from what his point was. His point was not to talk about. His point was to warn the people in America that if we if we allow ourselves to be disarmed, then we're going to be run over easily.
I understand. Yeah. He's right about that. I agree totally.
Right.
And one other short point, if I may.
Sure.
With this whole agenda of transgenderism and gender and all that bullshit, I researched a little bit, and there was a professor, Kinsey, his name was Alfred Kinsey, and he founded the so-called Sex Institute in the United States around in the 40s.
Say that again? He founded this so-called Sex Institute in the United States, and what?
Yes, in the 40s, around.
Oh, in the 40s, the 1940s. Yes. Wow.
Yes, and from this point on, he taught this agenda, and this agenda basically started with him. I want to mention also that he is also a Jew.
Oh, his parents, according to Wikipedia, were devout Christian. I went straight to early life. His parents were supposedly devout Christians, Methodist. That's like Hillary Clinton. So he's certainly not normal.
Yes, he was a professor at the Indiana University in the United States and founded this institute with the help of money of the billionaires back then, like Rockefeller. But yeah, I wanted to mention it because for me often it's interesting to go to the source, what really started all this. This agenda.
Right. Yeah, one thing definitely does lead to another, and you know the weakness of men and families in not raising the children right, not being head over the wives. Allows even like normal people who are not academics, like scumbag academics like this guy sounds like he may have been. That has allowed for people's children to be subverted and families to be subverted so that Satan is leading the woman and the woman is leading the man, and so the children are just lost generation after generation. And yeah, there's sick stuff going on over here in academia, and it's been happening for a long time.
Yes, all around the world. And this man only gave them the idea of such evil agenda. And of course, like you said, the people were too weak or too sick in the head to listen to such a demon.
Right. Wow. Alfred Kinsey. All right. I appreciate the tips, Simon. Good to hear from you, man.
Okay. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Take care. Goodbye. Oh, man. Angel in California is on the line. Angel, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing fine. How are you?
Doing fine, too. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, it's nice to talk to you.
Nice.
So I know you got to go right now, but I wanted to say that I'm glad that you told Tony that his kids won't respect him, because people need to hear the truth, and maybe he'll think about it. And does he really want his kids to be like him?
Right.
You know, maybe he doesn't even realize. And the truth hurts, you know. That's why he was trying to get mad and say all these things about you and women don't want to be with you. That's not true, because I'm a woman, and I know women, we want to find a good, decent man like you, first of all, that loves God. It's not going to cheat on us. It's not going to beat us. It's not going to do all these things, you know. So women want that. That guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to make a comment about that guy. I think his name was Richard, and he said that the United States has the most mass shootings.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the reasons I believe that we have that might be true. I don't know if it's true.
Right.
Because there's a lot of degenerate people here.
Right.
And then the parents are teaching their kids to be degenerate, so it's going to be 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with, you know, like the United States, because we have a, you know, good constitution, and there's a lot of patriots here, like me.
Yeah.
And so it's these degenerate people. It's the people that are doing it.
Right.
You know how they want to blame the guns for doing stuff when the gun is not a live person?
Right.
It's the people that are doing it. It's the same exact thing.
They want to take away the
and
tool.
they need to leave the USA. They need to leave this country. Bottom line, they need to get out of here.
Yeah.
If they want to be here and run their mouth and say all these things because they want to enjoy freedom.
They want to take away the tool of independence of the men, which is, you know, the gun symbolizes that in a big way. And they want to be the only ones armed and protected, you know, the phony politicians and the people who are basically asleep and spoiled. And it's a straw man, because evil is not going to go away. It's only going to get worse. I mean, you have Muslim mass shootings and mass murders in these European countries all the time. And then we had the retaliation against the Muslims over in New Zealand by that Australian guy. And he wanted that to happen. He wanted them to go after the guns so that the whites would wake up and fight. But that's misguided thinking. What a shame.
Right.
You're right. It is the evil of the people, the misguided, degenerating people. Appreciate it.
And it's funny when you talk to these people and then you tell them, why don't you leave? Why don't you get out of this country? And then they're like, oh no, well, we don't want to go.
Right.
You know. So that's
he
funny
has
that
roots
they say
here.
that.
Yeah.
Who cares? He could get out of here.
I
Who
know.
cares about his roots?
Yep.
You know, that doesn't matter, because if he's not going to have love for this country, then he shouldn't be here to enjoy everything this country gives.
Right.
You know. And then I have one more question. Why is that heathen maid your favorite color?
I started saying that as sort of a joke, and so the name has stuck. I just refer to her as my favorite caller. She's been a faithful caller for a long time, and every now and then she'll wish us well. Like if somebody gets sick around here, she'll give us her best advice. So she's a nice lady, and she's been calling since before I even heard of Jesse. She's been calling, but I know that she's been calling since even when I was a listener. Like there's 10, 12 years ago, she was 15 years ago maybe. Well, I don't know about 15 years ago, because I wasn't, I was just attending
she's
church.
kind of funny, and I like her. I wish I could understand what she's saying, but I still want her to leave the country. I still want her to leave. I think she should leave. I think John from Kentucky should leave.
Wow.
He called you right now, but he hung up.
Oh, no, that was Jeremiah
because you know
in
what?
Louisiana.
I have another question. Oh, was it Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Okay, is it John that says that Jesus is black? Is it John? Or
I
is it
think he
Jeremiah?
does. I forget. They're black Hebrew Israelites.
Right, I know. But let me ask you this. Do you really think that Jesus talks like that, like the way they talk, you know, how they talk kind of like slang or whatever, that type of talk that they talk. Is it slang or what is it?
I don't know. You mean jive? Does Jesus
Is
talk
it called
jive? Ebonics, you mean?
Yeah. Okay, Ebonics. I can't see Jesus Christ talking like that.
Right. I mean, I think he spoke Hebrew.
Hebrew.
And
yeah, he spoke Hebrew.
maybe Aramaic or something. Or is Aramaic
so
Hebrew?
I don't get there's no connection. Like, I don't get it.
Right.
They don't see it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, Angel. Nice to hear from you again.
Okay, nice to hear from you, too. I'll call you again.
Okay.
I'm on my break right now.
Sounds good. I'm glad you were able to get through. Take care.
Okay, take care.
All right. Wow. You know, Jeremiah had gotten disconnected, and he is back on the line, but unfortunately, we're out of time. Jeremiah, I appreciate it. He was asking, why talk about families but not have one? You'll have to call me next week, Jeremiah. Hopefully, I'll be live as normal. I have no plans of anything different. Have a nice weekend, sir. And Art in Ohio wanted to get on and talk about, it is true, it's the sleepy, evil Biden administration. And the rest of the callers, I cannot get to you. This has been the Hake Report. Catch Nick's stream later today. Should be fun. Nick's stream is at 4 p.m. Pacific over here. That's Anchor Baby's new show. AnchorBabyTips.live is one way to super chat, but you can also super chat directly through the YouTube channel. We have the Fallen State happening as well with Nick Rekieta. That's interesting. Nick Rekieta, he's a lawyer. Is he a liar? I don't know. But it should be mildly interesting, right? And then, of course, Church on Sunday, Church with Jesse Lee Peterson. Next week, I think, is a women's forum. Third Thursday, ladies. All right, guys, take care. Let me just double check the super chats. Friend says, Jews were at the head of the civil rights movement that Jesse dislikes so much. Yeah, I have heard that. They supported a bunch of evil things. Definitely not Christians. John WX25 says, under the greatest president, Donald J. Trump, gas was traded at record low prices per barrel. If memory is correct, it was under $30 a barrel. Russia tried flooding the market to put our oil companies out of business. Biden wants these prices. Wow. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Take care.